Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show and another episode of The Final Word. You've got an awesome foursome tonight. Andrea is watching basketball. Not surprised he's watching another sport after yesterday's debacle. We'll get straight into it. Let everyone say the piece. Let's talk about that Tanaka goal then, eh? Do we get into it? I stole that, by the way. I can't take credit for that, folks. I stole that. Lockie, come on then, with a big L on his shirt. Talk to me.
Our goalkeeping expert, Andrea, is not with us today, unfortunately. So,
we've seen some videos of Andrea in goal, actually, on five-a-side. He sent some videos across.
World class. But anyway, we'll leave it at that. Sorry, that kick, man. Anyway, Meslier. He swings and he tries to kick a ball and misses it. It's more funny than it sounds. But the goalkeeper. Yeah.
Shall I show them, Lockie? Shall I show them?
I haven't seen it, so I'd like to see it.
Would you like to see the goal kick? Right. Okay, let's do it. Let me get it downloaded to see.
Sorry, Andrea. I'm so sorry. It's a great save, by the way. Stands strong. Oh.
Yeah. Good save. Just terrible kick. Where is it? That's.
We've got to see some good goalkeeping first before we get into the question.
Yeah. There we go. There it is. Right. Let's let that upload. What did you say he was doing, mate? What was his kick?
It was a fake kick,
wasn't
it?
Fake shot.
Yeah, fake shot.
You can see that he totally misses the ball as he goes.
Oh, bless him.
But he saved it, man. He saved it, didn't he?
Hit him. Yeah.
Anyway, from that to these professionals, apparently. Anyway, Meslier. Oh man, it's not good. It's not good at all, is it? It's really bad. The moment is really bad. A few moments in the game, I didn't think were great, but that one summed it up. I think for me, it's not even complex. It's very fundamental what he needs to do. If he believes it's going out, let it out. If you're not sure, do not pat it in front of your goal. I'm pretty sure I'm not a goalkeeper, and I knew that when I was 6. Just tap it over the bar. Who cares? Make a corner out of it. Deal with the corner. Fine. Like it's just fundamentally not great. It's a huge mistake, and it's cost the team. Let's be honest. The thing about Mez is, I think the club or the manager or whoever it is have got to protect the player as well. He's clearly not confident. He's clearly not playing within his means. You know, this guy came to Leeds when he was 19 years old, and he got brought in pretty quickly when he came in. You know, obviously with the problems we had with Kiko and all that, he got brought in, and ever since then, really, that's been a big shirt for a young man growing up. And then remember his Premier League years, he'd get battered every single game with shots. It's almost like he didn't have time to learn the basic fundamentals because he was almost too busy just being that number one, and he never really had a break, did he? Apart from the last 3 or 4 games of the Premier League season when Sam Allardyce took him out. He's always been in that limelight. And I just feel like he needs a break. I think he needs to be took out of it for a little bit. I don't think it's something that I'm not going to over-exaggerate and say he needs to sell him. I just think he needs to be out of the team. I think we need Darlow in net right now. Because the fact of the matter is, fundamentally and I think mentally, he's struggling. Obviously, there was talk that I think one of the journalists said he was in tears after the game. There's fundamentally nothing, I keep saying fundamentally, there's nothing wrong with being in tears, obviously, but that shows it's getting to him and it is affecting him a lot. Experienced or maybe more confident, self-confident goalkeepers they're not in tears. They're looking at the footage. They're looking, how do I improve? I think everyone's got to do him a favour and drop him and bring another keeper just to take him out of it. Whether that's for a few weeks, a few months, that depends on him. That depends on the guy we have in the net. He's got to go out of it. He's got to look at it from a different perspective. He's got to speak to fellow professionals that are more experienced. How do you deal with situations like this? How do I mentally in those goals? Because you can't really be that emotional as a goalkeeper. You have to be cold. You have to be kind of in the zone. You can't really turn off. and you have to be fully self-confident. And I think we can all say he's not that. That's not what he is, and he looks like it, because they're not complex things we're talking about. Even the kind of the Sunderland one. Don't let it bounce. Don't let it bounce there. Come claim it, smother it, jump on top of the ball. The game's done. It's little things like that. I feel like he's so caught up in everything that's happened in such a quick time in his career that he's kind of just forgot the calmer, basic side of football of being a goalkeeper. And that's your mindset. You've got to go into every game calm and confident, knowing your fundamentals, knowing the basic things you have to do. And he's not doing it. And the fact of the matter is, it's about confidence. And I know we're going to talk about the reaction of the players, but they can't be confident in the goalkeeper. If we're not confident, the guys in front of him will not be confident. He's not confident in himself. Even the manager came out and said different to usual. So he's seeing it. He's noticing it. That can't be good for him. He knows. We've all made mistakes here. And obviously anyone here that's played football, I did it differently. When I made mistakes in football, I hated it. It affected my entire game. Honestly, if it's a big game and I made a mistake and it's a bad one, for weeks, I'd be in a bad mood. I'd be terrible. I'd hate it, be on my mind. And I feel like he's similar. So I think he needs time away. Sorry, I'm rambling on. I just think he needs time away. I think he needs a bit of a break. But my issue is, or what could be an issue, we brought Darlow in, right, when we got relegated, at the time when Mez was being linked away and all that stuff. Now, we brought Darlow in off a season at Hull, where, for I think he was in for half the season, wasn't it? I think it was the second half. Hull fans said he was really, really good. So we brought a player in who was in good form, highly liked.
They wanted him back. They wanted him back.
We wanted him back. So that should be a player that can come in and challenge the goalkeeper. I don't think, for whatever reason, then, he has been at the level to challenge him, which means Meslier has been making these mistakes and not been punished. Football should be a performance-based thing. If you play bad and consistently, you get dropped, someone comes in for you. That's how it should work. I don't feel he's had that. And that's not helped him. I don't think that's helped him. I don't think that's helped his confidence. It's all about confidence, and he's got to refine it. And Darlow's got to be the one. And if he's not good enough, if he's not of that level, that's on the recruitment side of it for me.
Yeah, I agree. Like I think someone messaged, or I seen a comment and said, like, how's it come to this that he has regressed so much? But it can happen with goalkeepers, because the player that I straight away think of is Joe Hart. Like, look what happened to Joe Hart after being at City. I think confidence is a big thing in goalkeeping and feeling assured. And once that goes, I think, look, I'm not a goalkeeper, can't really talk. Maybe he can get it back, but Jack, it definitely feels like he's regressed at Leeds, and it looks like it's getting worse, not better. That's the problem as well. Like, we had a few errors last season, a few rickets, but these ones are even more glaring, aren't they? You know what I mean? And look, and I said it on the earlier stream, there's the human side of it. You worry on that side of things as well. But, I listened to the Square Ball. I'd made the point as well earlier on in the stream. We're at that level where next game at Ellen Road, he catches a ball, he gets ironic cheers. We're genuinely at that. And now I know you might not do that, but many will. Many definitely will. And that's not a good place for him to be in.
No, and to be honest, even after Sunderland thing that happened, that only just stopped. Anytime ball sort of, there's like a gasp. When
you take a breath, isn't there?
Yeah, and to a point where where you just think there's nobody anywhere. There's literally, I know there wasn't with the Sunderland one, but I'm on about Road on passing him back, and they're like literally like bayed in their own half, and there's some something could happen here. Like, I think with this, I think it just needs to be taken out of firing line. I'm not one that's, I don't want rid. If whatever, I don't really mind. I don't really care where the club, right? I don't know how best to say this really, but wherever the club want to go with it, I will go along with it, see what happens. I'm not on board with just that it has to go at any cost, like it has to be out the club, as though like there's going to be some sort of like there's no coming back from it or whatever. Could he not be our second goalkeeper for a bit? If Darlow has to come in, Darlow has to do a job. We signed Darlow, like Lockie said, on the basis that he was going to be the number one keeper because we thought Mez were off. So when Mez didn't go, nobody wants Darlow in either. That's where the call comes from. Like, oh, we need, Mez needs to go. We need another keeper. It's not just, just bring Darlow in. I do agree with Lockie with the Darlow's not coming in when he's been out of form or when he's made a few mistakes. It's like we had an opportunity to sort of like not get to this point. I didn't think this point would come in, if I'm honest. I thought Sunderland were a total anomaly or whatever the word is, for where it's just like totally random, like ridiculous moment that most goalkeepers have like once in a lifetime. And the first goal, I personally thought we were at fault, but I could get over that on the basis that there are a few things that went wrong. But the second one, the second one actually educated me in football terms, because it's been a frustration of mine forever when keepers just tip it over at bar and I just think, it will go in over, but I'm not asking him to catch it, but just sort of like shepherd it out type of thing, like know your angle. And then when he tapped it down, I just thought, that's why they tip it over. Just tip it over, like I says, deal with the corner. If it goes in from the corner, you just think, well, I get he has an excuse, he has an ability there to say to his defenders, I did the best thing. I wasn't short. I knocked it out for a corner. You didn't deal with the corner, but when to palm it down is because also when he did that, and it was, the photos mentally it is literally over the top of the bar. He's like scooping it back down, and it's crazy. It's so crazy, yeah. And then I think some sort of panic set in within us there, because we were still like, well, the game was well won, wasn't it? That was the problem. We was actually in sort of like a really good control at game, and 3-1 up. We'd done really well second half. We were cruising to final whistle, and then it's just like, if it had just been like just to go from a corner or just some sort of mad goal or whatever, but it was like, I really think it set some panic in there, and then you felt it go in then.
Yeah. I think the frustrating thing as well, and I can see some people in the chat as well, like, well, what about this and what about that? And ultimately, either if he doesn't make that error for the second goal, we win the game. In fact, we win the game. I'm getting loads of grief on my watch along saying 70 minutes, game done and that, because obviously I was cigar out, pipe, that's it, we're done. And, we can blame everything and people say, it's hard. But ultimately, he did cost us that game regardless.
100% he did.
Go on. Sorry, yeah.
I just, there's been too many games now where he's cost us points. And if we don't go up this season, we all know that we're not going to have another season like last year or like this year so far, where we're going to be dominant, because of the fact that people will pick off our best players. Rodon potentially goes, Ampadu goes, Tanaka 100% goes, because the blooming commentators absolutely go wild over him every time he touches the ball. So if they're going wild over him and they talk crap half of the time, then anybody with a bit of footballing knowledge will definitely be keeping an eye on him and will be positioning from a position of weakness. We'll be in our third year of parachute payments with a far less attractive team going forward into the new season. So the fact that our goalkeeper isn't keeping us in games, the fact that the only thing that he seems to have continuously stayed good at is when is on his like one-on-one, when he's closing down a player who comes into the box and he makes himself big. That's the only thing he is consistently good at. His distribution is poor, his decision making is poor, his positioning is poor, his shot saving is poor. Everything about him, had he not played for us now for so many years, 5 years now, had he have not had that, had he have not had the caveats of, well, we didn't buy anybody in the Premier League, we were absolutely injury ridden, he had a poor defence in front of him, he had multiple managers in one. He's also had a manager for a year and a half who has done nothing other than sing his praises, give him a fantastic defence in front of him to help boost his confidence. And the handful of games where our defenders have not been on it over the last season and a half, we have dropped points. The only game that he has 100% saved us points was the Leicester game last year, where he scoops it out, just on the line. Other than that, we do enough via our attacking players to make sure that we stay in the game. You could argue maybe the Middlesbrough game, he keeps us in that one because we potentially go 2-1 down at that point. So you could maybe argue that one. But other than that, in a season and a half, that's 2 games. 2 games that he's kept us in, and we've got the 3 points from. How many games this season alone? He's cost us minimum 6 points. Minimum 6 points this season. And nobody, even the biggest defender of Meslier, could argue any different. And the fact that if, we score the most goals, we, keep some of the, we're top 2 for like clean sheets, all of these things make us look that if we had a goalkeeper who could do the basic, I'm not even talking about your worldy saves, I'm just talking about the basics, then we would already be 6 to 10 points clear of Burnley and Sheffield. And the fact that we're only 1 point clear is making me anxious because of the fact that we couldn't capitalize last week on them both dropping points. We dropped points also, but then they both won their games this week. But because we had that 3 points ahead of them, we stayed ahead of them because we got a draw. But I just want a goalkeeper who can do the basics, and we can readdress Premier League quality when we need it. We just need championship quality, and the guy's in relegation, level goalkeeper. Don't let the defense in front of him fool people into believing that Meslier is anything other than a lower end championship keeper, because right now he is not showing us any different.
Yeah, it is a worry as well. Like, sorry, Lockie, and then I'll watch it over to you. If we didn't have such a capable defence, you wonder how many he would concede. Do you know what I mean? Like, if we were a bit more gung-ho and not as watertight defensively, people can talk about Burnley's clean sheets and stuff, and I get that. And they have a top keeper, for example, but like, in terms of conceding chances on our goal, we're the best in the division. And it makes you wonder if that was, I don't know, mid-table levels, what kind of goals would he concede at that point? It's a... I don't think we can see a world in which he stays number 1 for the next game at least. Not Harrogate. I mean, the next league game, he's got to get taken out for me.
Yeah, even mentioned there that Farker talks about him and praise him in presses. Now maybe that's the point. Maybe even the praise is pressure to him. He's been told he's really good every week by the manager, or he's been told he's terrible by the fan base. The point is his name's there and he's getting all this stuff said about him. Maybe he just needs a reset where nothing's said about him. He can go into training every day and just focus on being a better goalkeeper, the basic stuff, without going every 3 games, having prepared for a game and going through the pressures, because it's clearly affecting him. I just think it's fundamentally, again, God, it's about just resetting him, honestly. You have a second goalkeeper for a reason. It's either for injuries or form to push him. Darlow is there, just play him. Meslier, you never know. He might have a 3-month break from this, 6 weeks, whatever. Might come back, might have reset, might have got his confidence back, found out his confidence as a goalkeeper. He might be a better player. It happens when a striker isn't scoring. You drop them, they might come back, score goals. Same in midfielder, they're not quite there. You drop them, they come back, they're better. It's the same for goalkeepers. So that's what I think should happen.
Sorry, Joe. I'm careful to sort of compare it to him being at another club though. So say he's the 12th in the championship. Like what level is he at? Like I honestly don't think, particularly for the keepers, I don't really think it works like that. I think it's literally for the keepers. I think you could put a lot of wingers in our side, probably 1 to 10 in the league, and they'd all have like a relatively decent return. They'd all play relatively well. They're all of a certain standard. They get plenty of ball. They'd be going forward loads. The keeper has nothing to do. There's an argument to the more he has to do, the better his statistics would be. He's currently facing a shot and he's going in. So it's that is horrific. That's 100% I let goals in, isn't it? If he faces 17 shots yesterday and he saves 15 of them,
he concedes 17 goals, Jack. That's the fact.
Do you think he does though, dude? Genuinely.
Not 17, obviously, but I think
no, I know.
No, just 15. Just 15.
Yeah, just 15.
So not even shouldn't be a professional footballer then? No, I'm not. But I'm not. If we're
no,
saying
I know you are. I know you're right, mate. You are right in what you're saying. I just think his shot stopping ability has always been questionable. If we're being totally honest, and I've always rated his one-on-ones, always backed him for that. I think his kicking was good for a period of time.
Well, I think his distribution's all right.
Yeah, I don't mind.
There's loads of keepers that are so bad.
Yeah, I agree. I don't mind it. I honestly, I don't. But the shot stopping is bad. Look, we've all seen the compilations doing the things online. I was critical.
That's kind of what I'm on about, though. That's all individual games, isn't it?
Yeah.
If he's been tested constantly,
it still pisses me off the way he died for that penalty, man. And I know you backed him on that, but even that when he jumps over the ball, man, it's fucking shot.
But I didn't back him on that. In fairness, Joe, I just said it's just a penalty. This is kind of a point. If somebody bullets it in and he gets it slightly wrong, that's his moment, and the penalty will pour, and then he's not. I'm not trying to defend him. I'm just trying to be. I don't want to start moving him through different clubs and then suggesting that it's like if he was he's a 20th in the league championship footballer. We can't do that. I don't think. Just pull him out the side, and let's see what happens. I don't know. Just take him out the firing line. I don't really mind what we do with him. In truth, so I mean, I'm not in defence of him. It's just. I think he lost us that game. We drew that game. We drew the game at Sunderland. I've zero excuses for him.
Yeah, the fact of the matter is, I think the next step is the big one. If Farke plays him for the next league game, then best believe he better return the page, and he's playing me on the confidence that he thinks he has. Now, we've seen that before with mistakes where he's played him, and he's had 2 or 3 all right games, but then you see it. Like, the 2 the other week where we kept clean sheets. He made 1 good save each in that. That's all he needed to do. He did his job. Fine. Claimed things. Distribution was fine. That's like, Jack, you don't need an mate. That's all you need, really. That's all we're asking for. Do you know what I mean? Tip it over the bar in that thing. Not ideal, fine. Dealt with it. Don't care. The one where he comes out for it. At least be at the edge of the box so you can use your hands, or get to the ball. It's 1 or 2 options. You can't do either.
Don't. Just stay back.
Let the lad
run
go for the one-on-one. Yeah.
Let the lad run at you, or let Wobber get back. Yeah. Give everybody else a chance. Just stay out of it.
Yeah, it's almost no decision. Even the 3rd goal, whether he should have got to it or not, there's almost no decision what he's doing there. He doesn't really die. It's like his mind's not in the game, basically. And this comes back to it. I just think he needs a. Yeah, I agree with Jack. I honestly wouldn't sell him. I don't think that's easier said than done. But he shouldn't be in the net for the next game.
No, he shouldn't.
Is what I'd say. 100%. And whether we bring someone in, do we get to the Premier League?
Bring me Jason Steelman.
Yeah, again, that's a keeper that's good fundamentally. Like Jack said, he can do the basic things well. Good with his feet, was at Brighton. Yeah.
I do want to bring on some super chats on this subject, and then we'll move it on because we don't want to talk about Meslier. We're going to talk about some good things and some bad things that happened elsewhere. Big up to Chris Richmond, who's a member for 20 months. Hidgeport says, we can't rely on him to keep us in the lead. Anyone can throw it out for a quick break. He's kicked it out loads of times trying to pick out a winger. Liam Moore says, now, I got to watch what I say about Daniel Parker before it costs me, but he says he doesn't publicly criticise players, but absolutely slayed Solomon.
So just on that, that's about the personality of the player. The manager spends every day with players. Some players love it when managers criticise them. It fires them up. Some players, they go into a shell. That me, I hated being criticised. Obviously, it's different when it's not publicly, but people are different. Solomon might see that and think, right, I'm going to prove you wrong. Meslier might just think, oh, okay. That's personality for me. But yeah, I understand what you're saying, but that's about the person, I think.
Graham Barwick says, points dropped ain't just on goalkeeper. How about... I really... Look, thank you so much for the super chat, but this proper grinds me, this. When people say, yeah, but what about XYZ? Okay, yeah, we can talk about XYZ. But ultimately, the goalkeeper is the last line of the
scored 3,
defense.
Joe. We should have won the game.
I know. So fucking goalkeep. Yeah. Keep the goal. Like, I get it. By that logic, then, just don't have any goalies. What's the point? Because, if he just scores, then we'll just score all the time and not have goalies at all. Tell you what, have no defenders and we'll just play strikers versus strikers. Like, it's a crazy thing. The whole point of the goalkeeper is to stop goals going in the back of the net. And if he did that yesterday, we win the game 3-1. That's what happens. We might even score another.
Are you going into management, Joe, with that formation?
You know what? Graham would support me. Graham would support me. Me and Graham, man, taking it on. But yeah, I hear. Look, the facts are as well, Graham. We are profligate, but we've still scored the most goals in the division. But we haven't conceded the least. And when you look at our XG against, and I know people hate these stats, but we have 19 expected goals, have conceded 18, right? Burnley have 20 expected goals, they've conceded 9. Who's stopping that? And guess what? Burnley don't score as much as us. But it's because their keeper is keeping them in games. There was a tweet that did the rounds yesterday from a Sheffield United fan. All thanks to Cooper. That's why we won that game. What a signing. Their keeper is getting them out of it. I think Evie's bang on. The last time I can remember Meslier getting us out of something was Leicester. Whereas I watch quite a lot of championship football. I watch football in general. I see keepers making worldies that keep them in games. I know it's different level, but like Emi Martinez, David Raya, I can remember in the past few months. Our keeper doesn't do that. He doesn't, man. And I get what you're saying about the rest of the team. And we can talk about, which we'll talk about far, because maybe team selection, maybe the subs and the timing of them. We're going to do all that now. But ultimately, it's his job to save goals, and he isn't at this stage. So I hope that answers your question. You set me off on a rant there. We've had a couple more on the goalkeeper, so let's just finish up. Mark says, Meslier, in the grand scheme of things, probably top, if not in our top 3 most valuable players in our squad. Transfermarkt confirms this. I'm not too sure that probably still stands up, to be honest. Not just based on that yesterday's game, but I would argue Ampadu's worth more, Rodon's worth more, Tanaka's worth more. Would argue Pirro's even worth more, and we don't all rate him. I just think I think his valuation will have massively depreciated over the past 2 seasons, really. But that's just my opinion. I may be wrong. Anyone, any thoughts on him being our top 3 most valuable players?
I don't know about top 3, but I do think there's some value to him. I've said this for weeks. And I know you're not saying that, Joe. I just mean and I think that's why he's looked after a little bit. For instance, I think that's why he remains to be the number 1.
Yeah.
So and I very rarely want to get into financial stuff with club, but he is one of the ones that actually has some. There's plenty of profit to be made on Mez, and it's up to him to provide it, isn't it? Currently, he's not doing so, but I think he does. There's still some value to him, even if he sat on bench for the rest of the season. I still think there'd be some value to him, other than the starting. Everybody else is.
Problem is he's not worth 150 million, which is what we lose by not getting promoted. So that's the issue. Is that
I think
there is some value in him, but if we don't get promoted. Is that 12, say he's worth 12 to 15 million, because realistically, nobody's paying more than that. 100%. Nobody's paying more than that for Meslier. That can't get as many players if we don't get promoted this season. So there's value. There's value in him, but I don't agree with. I agree with what you're saying. Is I think that is what the club's doing in terms of protecting him, because he is worth money to the club. But I think that that's the wrong way to be looking at it, because of the fact that your profit margin for a £12 million player or £15 million player is, you're going to get far more profit out of getting back to the Premier League. So getting.
But I don't think that's necessarily.
Even as a number 2, you're saying we'd still be able to make money, because we only paid $5 million for him, by the way. So we'd probably make that.
Well, you'd get $5 million for him, wouldn't you? Now, regardless, somebody would take him. I actually don't think many people would take him right now. But my point with it is, I don't really care if we lose, win, make. Well, my only point is that just looking at it as the club would be, or I have no idea how the club are looking at it, but we do look after him a lot. It has been like he became the number 1, and then at the time when he came in for Casilla, everybody were behind it. And it were this young lad that he'll be with us for 5 years. He's looking for PSG move. We're getting these big moves, and that has waned massively. I obviously have to admit, but there's no reason why we can't get back towards that with him. I don't care whether we do or not. He can sit on bench for me, and we can. Do you know what I mean? I'm not bothered about anybody making any money. It's not. Do you know what I mean? I agree with you, Evie. Like, we have to go up. It's not like, I'm not. That's what I mean. I'm not saying keep Mazin because we might get 15 mil from it. I'm just saying we have to go up.
Always talking about finance is you, Jack. Proper finance man, aren't you? Mark says, I'll give you 2 free keepers in the champ at Meslier level, but let's be honest, no more. No matter the narrative, busy keepers always look better, which is what Jack was saying earlier.
I do think that's true, though.
Yeah, I hear. Yeah, because they have more work to do. Right, let's move on from Mez if we can. Really, really bad first half. Really bad first half. I was asking for change. I was like, James has not been on it. I even still think, even though he went on to score, I think he needs a bit of a rest personally. He'll probably get that now with Harrogate round the corner. If I'm honest, Bogle did all right. Again, Lockie, I think Solomon was probably the bright spark in that first half. It was a really poor showing, though. But credit to Farker. He didn't make changes, but he certainly changed something. He certainly put a rocket up the backside, and they came out a different team. And then your boy Tanaka scores a worldie, and we should be talking about that, really, shouldn't we? What? That was a beauty, that. Wrapped his foot round it, great finish. But yeah, talk to me about the game outside of Meslier.
Yeah, game to arse, that cliche, I think. Yeah, whatever happened in the first half, it just weren't quite working. We didn't move the ball enough. It was a little static, but Solomon was, again, our main threat. I just love how quick he makes decisions, whether that's to dribble, to drive, to pass. He makes it quickly. But then when he makes it, he don't just watch his pass and, that's a good pass. He moves into another space. He's always available. And that's what I love about him. Now he's got that sharpness back. You can see how quick he thinks the game. He's so much quicker than everyone else in that front four. He's so good at doing that. Everyone needs to kind of be on his level, to be honest now. He's kind of looking a little more, a bit of a better player than everyone around him at the moment. And everyone needs to get to that level because that's the standard he's setting, which is great because it's just good to see him in this form now and finally getting to the level that we wanted him to get to when we knew we could. So that's great from him. Dan James, he does look a little... It's them... There's times where he's running at the fullback and he's just not quite beating him. Whereas when he's really fresh, it just gets in front of him. He's never the quickest.
Mate, do you know in that first half, I can't remember one successful take on him. He were falling over the ball and everything in that first half.
Yeah, it worked good, wasn't it? I think, it's... Now we've had this break. After the break, I think this is where I think the first game back after break will be unbelievable because it's had that rest. But there was a moment as well in the second half where we were going for it. We played so well, every individual, I thought, for kind of a 15-20 minute period. The flow in was brilliant. It was just so quick and everyone was moving around and the players did the bit. Perrault took his chance. Great finish, by the way. What a good thing to have in your team, a guy that can just take an edge at box, take a touch and whack on it bottom corner. I also think at 3-2, no one's speaking about it. I think Dan James had a chance to score and make it 4-2. Very, very similar to their goal. Very similar, but he hits it at the keeper's head. I think he should do better. Very similar to theirs.
He lobs it, but he doesn't lob it high enough for it to actually chip over.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Now, that was brilliant goalkeeping. That was hilarious.
But should score that, again, 4-2 then, different game, but he didn't. But I'm not going to bat Dan James. He's played how many in the last few games? He's a one a week player. He has one unbelievable performance a week, and the midweek ones are never quite great. But he was involved in the goal as well. Obviously, he scored the goal, and Solomon is the standout. And I think that's the standard. I do want to talk about because I keep mentioning him. People disagree. That's fine, but I don't like this Boba at left back. To be honest, I think Boba's a good player, a very good player. He is. At this level, he clearly is. But he just looks like a fullback in a centre-back's body when he plays, which he is, I guess. He's doing it, but it's slower than most because he is a centre-back. Just look at the man. Just look at him. Just look at him on a picture. He's not a fullback. He's not an athletic centre-back. He's a big centre-back.
Tracking back was brutal yesterday as well, man.
Yeah. It's longer than he's usually doing. He's a centre back. He's got to get further back. He's going to be the winger. Is literally quicker than him. Yeah. Look for the goal. The winger's always in front of him. He doesn't catch him. Ampadu, I want him in the 6. I've had enough of it. I want him in the 6. You've got a centre back at left back. Put him at centre back and put the centre back that is a 6 in the 6. And then obviously then there's a problem at left back, isn't there? Because Schmidt's not there. The Schmidt conversation, but I just want players in the position that they are, mate, to be honest. And it's a bit frustrating that we can't do that at the moment. Hopefully Firpo's back soon. Because I need Ampadu in that midfield, because everything good Ampadu did was what he did in midfield. You know, when he drove with the ball, when he intercepted, when he moved out of the back line, drove with it.
Well, we nearly scored straight after their goal, didn't he? When he played it in.
That's what he does. Get him in midfield, and he does that. You know, it's such a miss for the team for me when he's not in there. But I understand to an extent why in that game he was, because of the injury to Strauch, obviously. But yeah, I don't know. We were fine. It's just frustrating what happened, but I don't think it's. Yeah, I saw some people saying they were creating chances, and it did look like they were coming back into it. I think they were creating piece moments, and they looked a bit dangerous from them. I don't think they were creating chances. I think we looked very solid. We're dominating the ball, mate. So yeah, it was a bit of a thingy game. We've seen this one before, haven't we? We weren't great. We improved. We scored goals. We usually see that out, but we didn't this time.
Yeah.
So.
It's the most points we've dropped in these last two games than we did from winning positions than we did all last season. So very that's a bit, very unlike us, definitely. And look, outside of Meslier, Jack, I thought defensively we didn't look as good and assured as we normally do. I think we need to not stop this conversation about Ampadu being better at centre-back now. For me, he's not. He's just not better at centre-back. Where was he for the goal on the first one? He's nowhere. I don't know. So... yeah,
I thought they both got dragged out for that road on, and Ampadu just like them. And then I was hoping for Wober's sake that the bloke was like 30 yards offside. So I just thought, I've no idea how this is like. He's so far offside, even though he was sort of like relatively close to him. I just thought he must have had like a 10-yard head start here, because you can't be that slow. But yeah, I'm not. I want Ampadu in the 6, but I don't mind the road on Ampadu centre back partnership, to be honest. And I don't mind Wobber at left back, but I do agree with Lockie that when it comes to it, it's like the bloke isn't a left back. He's not, you know. I've never tried to suggest he's flying forward. He certainly doesn't look like Firpo when he's moving, does he? You know, it's like I just don't think I think he's decent on the ball, and he can deliver. He actually delivered a few decent ones yesterday, didn't he? Like his final ball's not poor, but. I do think we're dragging him into left back. It does, and I don't want to bring the Schmidt thing up, but what is occurring with that if it's not? The main frustration for me yesterday was, and I don't want to be like sentimental about it, but we'd never get a goal from centre mid and stuff. We never really shoot. It's not like a thing that do you know what I mean? Tanaka picks top bin out like one that goes at season potentially, and that's like, and we're 1-0 down. It's not just like 2-0 up. I'll have a crack from here. It's like, you know, when you want somebody to do something, Man City style, when they're flying, and you go, right, who's the player on pitch now? Who's going to do it? Who's going to come out and like get us to 1-1, and then we'll all go, and then we'll just go into normal winning mode where we just go, you've pulled that bag here today, and then we go and win the game like all collectively.
Yeah.
That was the moment. That's what we were all calling for. It's like I actually wanted half time. I was like, let's just get to half time. I didn't think we were. I know it was poor in the first half, but I didn't feel like, you know, we were going to...
I still thought we were going to go win, Jack. I did, honestly.
I did. Yeah. I just thought, get to half-time. Farke's got an opportunity, whatever everybody thinks Farke, to get stuck into him a little bit like, come on now, who's stepping up? Tanaka comes out, pulls a worldie out of the bag, and then it's like, and then we go and win the game so comfortably at 3-1. That is the frustration. You can't argue with Farke. You can't argue with what the squad did. It's the idea that we're 3-1 up and then bring defenders on or whatever, like people have called for with Farke. And you can blame for. I want Farke to make substitutions earlier. I'd much rather he did.
Yeah,
but he didn't. And then we're 3-1 up, and then that happens. It's like, what? How can he manage that? What can you do about like a capitulation on the pitch? You know what I mean? We're in total. That was the main frustration for me. You could tell how I know Tanaka his first goal and stuff, but you could tell how it was all celebrated. They all loved it. It was like, right, let's go now. We're in now. And then like Lockie says with Peru and stuff, like such a mint finish for the third goal. Like so calm. Yeah. They'd gone at the back as well. Their legs had totally gone. And then they got a head of steam then because of, not to bring back to Mez, but because of then the mistake from, and then they got, and then we went. It was just, that was the main frustration for me. We did what you want the club to do, what you want the team to do, and then
that's what I mean. If the errors don't come, we're talking about we went away, we struggled in the first half.
You love
However, We win 3-1. That's 3 away wins on the spin.
And you love winning like that. I love winning like that. We go 1-0 down. You go, look at these boys here. Look how mint they are. Like how they get to have. They just, like I say, like Man City style when they're flying. It's like just don't lose games. Like you just never feel like you're going to lose games.
One thing I would say that slightly contradicts what you've just said is the fact that when you're 3-1, Dan James is clearly absolutely just steam has gone. And one of the things that I always praise Dan James for is his defensive capabilities. And he just wasn't tracking back. He wasn't making those runs. Solomon was, but him and Sam Byram wasn't. Neither one of our left backs had a good game yesterday, whether it was Byram or Verba. Neither one of them had good games. Ampadu didn't have a good game. Bogle was great attacking, but he was almost having to do too much defensively. There was very poor communication between, like, Ampadu did a header back to Meslier, told him to leave it. Then nobody had spotted the fact that there was a Hull player running in. Bogle then had to get involved and try and clear it. And it was just all a bit kind of chaotic at the back. If you make substitutes earlier, you can see, like you said, we've won the game. It's 3-1. Hull are done at that point. You bring on Ramazani, you bring on Nonto, that he's done consistently at the 70th minute when we're winning is change the wingers to give us a little bit more energy going up and down the flanks. He didn't do that. And then his subs were Gilavogi and Joseph when we've already conceded 2 goals. Like, I was angry at Farke yesterday. Like, for me, that loss, yes, Farke isn't on the pitch, so he doesn't concede the goals. I fully get that. But why would you leave players on that are clearly struggling and have had back-to-back poor games, which Dan James, and I absolutely adore Dan James, but he's been poor the last 2 games. Yes, he got the goal, but other than that, like, Farke should have been protecting his players. I know we've got an FA Cup game, so obviously these players probably aren't going to play, but still, what's the point in flogging players? We still have to win the game. You know, I think even Farke got arrogant at that point by not allowing tired players to go off. You know, we should have won that game. You know, that there's no, but that is on the manager as well, for the fact that if you put Ramazani and Nonto on, they don't have the legs to go up our end of the pitch. The ball doesn't get there because Ramazani wants to try and impress to get a start. And if he's got 25 minutes to potentially score a goal, he's going to try and do that. The same with Nonto. All of these things do come back to Farke. Yes, he's not Meslier and doesn't make stupid decisions, and he's not the defence. But Farke could have won us that game by his substitutes, by just calming us down. And he's almost like clockwork, 70 minutes substitute, and he only changed 1 player. That isn't like him. So the fact that he did it in a game where we just had to close the doors or go and get 3 more goals, go and let the, you know, players run a little bit wild. It's a Yorkshire derby, you know, let the players have a bit of fun. But instead, we just threw it all away.
I do think I was a bit like that. I mean, it's easy with hindsight because we win 3-1, but I do think, you know, some of the personnel look to be done in almost, and between the 3-2 and the 3-3, there's like 10 minutes, and I almost feel like he then brings on Gilavogi after they scored 3-3, and I was frustrated because I was like, well, change that now, because just say, I'm sorry, Josh, go sit back down. Because what was he going to do with the ad attack? I don't know. That's not his role. You bring on Joe. I'm a bit like with you with that, Evie. I think sometimes, yeah, the frustrate. It was because, okay, you didn't make changes at halftime, which I would have done. I didn't get the left back one either because it almost felt pre-planned. Right, Voba, I'm going to give you so long, and then I'm going to bring on Byron, because at halftime Byron was warming up while everyone else was in the changing room. So you know what he was doing. You've got to be using Schmidt at some point, mate. You know, you've got to be. Go on, sorry, mate.
So Woba was limping in the first half, so I think the Byram, he was holding his knee. So around the 30-odd minutes, I think the Byram at half time was just to see, and he was limping for like 10 minutes. But it fingered it off. For me, the sub I'd have made is a Gilavogi for Rothwell. Honestly, for me, Dan James, like I said, at 3-2 was pressing high and he won the ball and should have scored. So he had something. Yeah, maybe he didn't get back enough. Dan James does that, There's times where he's unbelievable getting back, and there's times where he kind of just sacks it off a little bit. He does do that. He is that type of person. He goes or he doesn't. There's kind of no in between with him. But I'd have brought on Gilavogi a little earlier just to see the game out, even at 3-1. How many times this season have we seen it where we are winning, we bring Gilavogi on and we just kill the last 10 minutes off? Nothing happens, does it? We just control the game. Him and Tanaka or whoever it is, we just control it. We don't need to create a chance, really. We can just control the ball and destroy them, because at the end of the day, look, they made 2 subs before the 90th minute. So if you just match that, do a Gilavogi, if Foba's struggling, do that. Just see the game out and be quality. And I think if he's right, there probably is an arrogance there, because we're so used to when we go ahead, teams don't come back into it. So you've probably got in their mind, like similar to the other game, last game, same thing. When we're ahead, yeah, we're good. We're mint. We've got this. When actually, in the last 2 games, you've seen that there's a weakness when we go ahead, and that's teams are just going to play for set pieces now. Best believe in them last 20 minutes, teams are just going to go for fouls, put as many high forward, and go for win the ball in the box. That's all they're going to do, because that's a blueprint now to how to get goals against Leeds in the last 10 minutes. You can't outplay us. You can't play it round us, because we're a very good unit. But if you play for free kicks and you get men in the box, that's about who's the bigger man in the box and who's going to win the header. So that's something we need to work on. There's a stat, Joe, right, about how many goals we conceded from set pieces, and apparently it's really bad. So that's... You're muted, mate.
I'll tell you what it is, because I spoke about it earlier on, and it is bad. Leeds United have 58% of our goals have been from set plays, and we have conceded 11 out of 19, and it's the highest percentage of any side in England's top 4 tiers. So that shows just how bad we are. And that's not just the keeper. He's a massive part of it, because he flaps at stuff, but the defence as well. They're not switched on.
We don't win the first contact,
No. And also on the coaching staff. Coaching staff need to improve that as well. Absolutely. That has to be on them.
This is the thing. This is more down to the coaching staff than any aspect for me, because it's set pieces. At the end of the day, the teams are setting up in a way where they're going to move you. We've got our structure in corners, for example. Look at what Blackburn did. Back post, guy goes on it, moves the guy out in the middle. Dan James doesn't follow him. You have to look at these and go, these are the problems here. As a staff, you have to find a way, even if your team's not big and strong, because we're not the biggest, we're not the tallest, then you have to find a different way. Maybe be deeper, maybe be a little deeper, or maybe just crowd an area. I don't know. I don't have the answers. But the point being, you have to find a way to at least nullify that record, because that is, 11 out of 19? I mean, teams hardly score against us if hitting set piece. That's a crazy record about set pieces. It's ridiculous. 7, 8 goals from open play all season. We've got to fix it, mate, to be honest. And that is on the coaching staff. They have to find a way. They have to find a structure or something to fix it, or at least nullify it a little bit. I don't know.
Can I just quickly say, Joe, it's just a 1 sentence thing, but I want substitutions early just for the last point. I would much rather. I can't help but put some onus on the players, just see the game out. If there's no substitutions coming, I don't care at that point. I think the players should be able to see the game out from 3-1 up. So we can, but you can blame Farke or lightly if you want, but at some point the players are on the pitch. I'm not bothered if they're getting a bit tired or whatever. It don't, honestly. I think our side, everybody bangs on about us. We should be able to see 3-1 out for 20 minutes.
We should. Yeah.
Against 22nd in league.
Yeah. It's not
I want subs earlier. Much rather he did. He doesn't. He didn't yesterday. We should have seen the game out. Whether Farke gets on a plane and goes on holiday, we should be seeing that game out. It doesn't even have to be in the ground.
Are we surprised not to see? Are we surprised not to see Larger? That's gone a bit mad, hasn't it?
There's something to be made. Everybody's on about that as well, like saying that something's because he's nowhere near side at the minute, is he?
He's not. And Nonto's not been pulling up any trees either, so it's like he's still bringing on Nonto, you know what I mean? But we're not seeing Largy. And I'm not advocating Largy to start over Solomon because I think Solomon's just a cut above what we've got in the squad right now, if I'm honest. But I'm surprised we haven't seen him, you know, since his injury. He's gone quiet, hasn't it? So,
well, who did he start against recently?
It was Was it Blackburn? No, Derby. No, where did it was Derby, weren't it? In the in the second half.
I thought it was bad. I didn't think he looked
he
ready enough yet.
He was.
So maybe it's down that. Maybe that was a Farker test. In it, is he actually?
Yeah.
No, the answer was no. He wasn't good. He didn't look ready. Just like Ampadu when he first came back, he did not look ready. That's something like I want the journalists to ask. Why didn't you bring these guys on? What is it? Is it fitness? Why didn't you bring them on? Why are they not playing more? Ask them. We want to know. The fact is,
none of our journalists have the guts to ask the questions that we actually want to know, though, because they're so petrified that they won't be let back in the conference next time. So
and he won't answer them, will he? I love Sparky in interviews. He won't say oh. He like starts and then he just goes off, starts talking about his weekend or something. He's like, he goes on the biggest walk ever. So. But I agree. Just ask the question. It actually annoys me because you got to sit through them, haven't you? As if you're going to do a video, you have to sit through that, and you just think, what type of questions are these? Like, honestly, it's like, have you watched the last 4 games of the? It's just like general questions, isn't it? Like, just Google what to ask a football manager or something.
You know what, Jack? They need to stop asking about the opposition because we don't care. Stop asking about the opposition. Don't care. Ask about us. Ask about our players. Don't care about them.
Yeah.
Wasting your questions. Yeah, I agree.
It's so true. It's so true. Obviously, we've sort of got a week off now from pressurized football. I think Saturday will be enjoyable against Harrogate. Yeah, same. It'll be nice and relaxed and loads of changes.
Incoming 3-0 to Harrogate.
No, thank you.
No, man. I think what. I think actually all of us will just have all eyes on Darlow. I think that'll be the thing, won't it? Let's see what Darlow's got. Imagine he starts Meslier to get his confidence back up.
Well, do you reckon there'd be half an argument for that, though?
Yeah.
Putting Meslier
in
and then dropping him for Championship game.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Genuinely, like if he becomes the second goalkeeper, if he became the second goalkeeper yesterday,
exactly.
Does he then start? And then Darlow comes in as the number 1. So,
that'd be hilarious. Everyone would be losing their heads.
Yeah, they would. Yeah, I think we'll see the changes, won't we? I think he'll ring. He'll ring the changes.
Chambers. I want to see Sam Chambers.
Yeah, Gulavogi even starting as well. That'll be nice. And Joseph hopefully gets amongst the goals. Largy will probably start Nonto. We still should batter these. Like it is what it is. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, we should do.
Yeah, folks. They still have to turn up, though.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. And listen, Leeds United have history of throird round absolute clangers, don't we? Let's be honest.
This is our thing, isn't it? This year.
Yeah, this is our thing. Is third round clangers against shite opposition. We've done it many times. It's a bit of a derby though. There might be some fisticuffs and that.
Gonna be brutal. Yeah,
gonna kick off, but January. Do we bring in a new keeper, or do you think they just go with Darlow?
Oh, I think that might depend on the next.
I think there's a Premier League loan somewhere. There's got to be.
Oh no, there probably is, but the answer is will these lot do that? You know what I mean?
I would,
Yeah, I probably would, mate.
I would to shock them, even just to do something because Meslier has had zero competition for and maybe that's part of the club letting him down as a player. They haven't actually got anybody in as genuine.
I think for me, Evie, like up until this point, I've just maintained, even with the Sunderland error, I've gone, look, I'd like a new keeper, but they won't, and he's fine. He'll get us up. That still could be the case, but now I'm more like, it's too risky now to do that. So, like, go get a new keeper. Do you know what I mean?
The thing is, though, like last season, Darlow was that third choice Premier League goalkeeper that we brought in. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, so we do kind of have one. He's just not played. So the level you'd get in is probably similar to him, to be honest. So
I think it's more of a risk bringing someone in than it is putting Darlow in.
Yeah.
you
see
said
Darlow
there,
first.
we've got
I
that
agree.
player that was going to be the number one if Mez left. So, and he's obviously not, and nobody wants him in. That's what worries me. Nobody's actually calling for just
But yeah, play
let's bring
Darlow.
Darlow, and it's like we have to bring someone in. It's like, what's happened to Darlow? He was meant to be the one, wasn't he? Not the one, just the number one, like at the club, not the
chosen one. Yeah. Well, I've seen Hull fans said he was really good. I know Wales fans like him for his recent performances. For them, he's been really good. You know, I saw some stuff of his saves in his last few games. I mean, it's really good. I think the game he played for us, he was terrible. That's which was the cup last year, right? I believe against Salford. Is that the game he played? Was that one?
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah.
So that's our kind of meter of how good he is. But everyone else would say he's actually, maybe Newcastle fans would disagree, but all fans and Wales fans would say he's really good. So
if you think about it, if like say for instance this season it was the other way around and we'd only seen Meslier in Sunderland, Blackburn and Hull City, we'd be having kittens saying why are we bringing him in. So we can't judge Darlow off that if we're not judging Meslier on those three performances. We've only seen Darlow in net like 3 or 4 times, so surely like we genuinely have to give him a chance because maybe he just was having stinkers those days. You know, he's good enough to have come to get to this level kind of thing. And you would hope does have a little bit, because of the fact that he has been battered previously at other clubs and is second choice, he probably has a bit more of a backbone than Meslier and maybe is less of a confidence player because he doesn't get played that often, whereas Meslier is a confidence player and is struggling for confidence. You know, maybe Darlow is the right choice for that.
Therefore, we will see. We will see. Listen,
Cue
I'm
the
yawning my
Harrogate
head off.
stinker.
What you say, sorry?
Cue the Harrogate stinker from Darlow.
Yeah, exactly. And then we'll all be going, get Cairns in. He knows the club. He gets it, does Cairns. He gets it. Yeah, but listen, I'm yawning my head off here. It's getting late. I want to thank these amazing guests for coming on. Oh, God, apologies. I'm yawning. It's not because of the guests. It was quality. It was a good show, good chat as always. Really enjoyed it. Can dust ourselves off and forget about Mez for a bit now, and look forward to Harrogate at the weekend for sure. Lockie, Ben Locke, make sure you check out Mr. Ben Locke on YouTube and check out his videos because they're always great, top tier content. Same for Jack City Music and City of Leeds fans. Go check him out, top guy, and of course Evie.
Just falling asleep doing this outro.
I'm not, man. I'm not.
You're gonna be ending the stream like this soon.
I know, yeah.
it's just
the thing is,
I've got
all out.
That's what it is.
I got to stay up because I got to watch this program. Anyway, and Evie's content game's clearly upgrading with that nice new flashy mic just dangling there in front of you. That's cool. That's cool.
It was a Christmas present to myself.
Nice. Deserved, of course. Yeah, it looks cool. So yeah, go check out Discourse of a Peacock as well. And go check out all them other content creators that are out there smashing it and stuff. There'll be no counterpoint tomorrow, folks, because I'm away. Yeah, well, I was supposed to go to Halifax today, but obviously there's snow and stuff, so it was like I'm not driving nowhere in that. So I go tomorrow. So yeah, that show won't be on, but we will be there soon, no doubt. Anyway, I'm yawning and I'm chatting shit now, so just filling dead air, as they say, isn't it? Peace out to everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye. And we shall see you on the flip. Oh, look, there you go, Andrea, following you right out the basketball arena.
Missed the start of the stream, Andrea. Don't watch.
Yeah. Don't go back and watch your amazing goalkeeping right at the start of the stream. That should be back Thursday, mate. That should be back Thursday. Because now we've got some normality in the footballing calendar and schedule again because Christmas is done. But yeah, I'm going to go now. Peace out. Bye. Andrea lost. Well, there you go. Peace.